who really has the best crop of talent under 30 in Japanese pro wrestling, and I listed the talent under 30 for All Japan Pro Wrestling, Dragongate, DDT, New Japan Pro Wrestling, and Pro Wrestling Noah. Spoilers, there's not a lot in Pro Wrestling Noah. We talked about some of them already with All Japan Pro Wrestling, but we'll quickly go through the guys that they have. Atsuki Aoyagi, 24 years old. Dan Tamura, 25. Hokuto Omori, 29. Ren Ayabe, 27. Ryukyu Honda, 24. Yuma Anzai, 25. Yuma Aoyagi, 28. That is one that really surprised me because Yuma Aoyagi has been around for so long, and I had no idea that this guy was still under 30 years old. That's wild, definitely. Of course, they use other talent as well. For example, Fuminori Abe still is 29 years old. But of their core roster, of their signed roster, that's the guys that they have. That is 7 of 14. Yes, the official All Japan roster consists of 14 wrestlers with a lot of, like I said, freelancers that they have on their roster. Soon they will have the aforementioned young guys, the rookies, Sakuto Terada and Taishin Nagao, getting the under 30 talent to 9 out of 16. So that is All Japan Pro Wrestling. Dragongate, they have Homare, who is 20 years old, who, by the way, had an incredible debut just at the beginning of September in Korakuen Hall against Masaki Mochizuki and then turning to Zebrats. Hio is 27, Ishin 26, Jackie Kamai is 24, Kota Minura is 25, as well as Madoka Kikuta. Rita is 27 years old. Mochizuki Jr. 22, Ryoya Tanaka 25, Shun Skywalker, same age as Yuma Aoyagi, also under 30 years old. He has been around seemingly forever. Yoshiki Kato, I don't know what his future is. His status is very much up in the air when I'm listening to Open the Voice Gate. 27. And, Yuki Yoshioka, he just turned 30. So
he's disqualified.
11.
He doesn't count. Get him out of here.
I got him out of there. I didn't count him. That makes
we like you.
Yeah, 11 out of 29 wrestlers that I counted. Much like All Japan, Dragongate also uses freelance talent, of course.
Right.
DDT. Now it gets interesting. We have Hideki Okatani, who is 23 years old. Kasuma Sumi, 21. Keigo Nakamura, 25. Mao, 27. Naomi Yoshimura, similar case as Yoshiki Kato, maybe, 29 years.
Yeah.
Rukia, 23. Takeshi Masada, 22. Toi, 24. Yuki Ino, 29. He is turning 30 very soon. Yuki Ishida is 25. Yuki Ueno, 29. Yuya Koku, 26. And of course, Yuni is 16 years old, born in 2008. Yuki Onaya just turned 30 in August. That makes it 12 out of 33 that I counted. New Japan.
He's fired. He doesn't count.
He's fired. Yes. Drilla Maloney, Gabe Kidd, Kevin Knight, and Master Wato are all 27 years old. Oscar Loibe, Renarita, 26 years. Roy Oiwa, 25. Shota Omino is also 27, much like Yuko Nakashima. Yuya Uemura still is 29 years old. Masatora Yasuda, you mentioned him, 25. And Daiki Nagai is 21, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
Oleg Bolton still is considered a young guy on the roster, but he is 31 years old. So that makes it 12 out of over 60. The roster of New Japan Pro Wrestling is so weird with all the guys that wrestle for them in America only, or in Australia. 12 out of over 60.
You know, if you told me Bolton was 40, I probably wouldn't argue with you.
Yeah, exactly. So finally, Pro Wrestling Noah with the newest guy, Daiki Odashima, 23 years old. Junta Miyawaki is 27. Kai Fujimura, Dylan, he's already 29 years old and still a black type rookie.
So yeah, he's another one. I wouldn't be putting his stories up of him in the dojo or anything like that.
Yeah. Kaito Kiyomiya, 28. Taishi Osawa, 27. And Yu Owada, is 24. That is 6 out of the official 28 that I counted. Of course, there's guys like Alpha Wolf or Dragon Bane who are 25 and 24. Yuto Kikuchi, who they just added, is 25. Jack Morris just turned 30. Yoshiki Nomura just turned 31. So that's the guys that I have. Of these 5 companies, Dylan, which company do you think has the best talent under 30?
Yes, I basically look at these as the big 5 of the men's companies, pretty much. Even though in the media they always shorten it to big 3, but on this show we also count DDT and Dragongate as well, as we should, because they're very good this year, especially DG. I just note that the one who will not be winning this award is you. Every single company, you broke your own rules and put people over 30 in.
No. I put those in that barely did not make the cut, and I did not count them in.
That's true, but you mentioned them and all of them on there. So and I don't mind because they're good. I mean, Ollie Bolton's awesome. I'm not gonna judge anyone for that, but still, I just wanted to note that it was very amusing. You look at these rosters here. I think it's so interesting. To me, I think unfortunately for a lot of these companies, DG has a big advantage in that they're less afraid to use even look at Homari. I mean, one match in and he feels like a generational star. At that point, a guy that could be a top star in the future. You see that upside right away. Someone like Mochizuki Jr., he's not he's not long into his career, but he feels like he could be a main eventer. So you get guys like that who are already in their early 20s and they already feel like they could threaten for big spots. You're not the way they do the system. New Japan and Noah and these guys are just not going to be able to do that. Anzai was like a super special case where he jumped forward so fast, and that's what made him so special, and he deserved it because he is special. Overall, though, when you look at this roster, I would still say, again, regardless of the reasons, I think DG, you look at the top guys, at least for me, like the top workers, like Tanaka, Mochizuki Jr., Kakuta, Homari, Jackie Kamei, like those guys are some of the best guys in the whole company. Shun, like nobody can fill his role in any company. Like he's a totally unique character. I just think they get the most out of their young talent compared to any other company. At DDT, I think they get a little bit more freedom. Again, kind of what I said, the traditionalism of the big 3, which I kind of railed against earlier. DDT and Dragongate are not beholden to that as much. If anything, their target audience appreciates younger male talent more. So that really allows them to be more flexible and use these guys in bigger spots. So I think those two, in terms of the impact they've made, DG would be 1 and DDT would be 2. But in terms of talent for the big 3, it's not fair because Noah and All Japan are just All Japan is just so small in general, but Noah, their talent list at this level of age is so small, so that hurts them compared to a New Japan, which has just more bodies that fits in here. I would go with Dragongate would be the best one. Long story short.
Yeah, it for me it would be between Dragongate and DDT as well. I'm leaning a bit more towards DDT right now when I just look at the talent that they have just from a pure in-ring standpoint. Okatani is out injured right now, but Okatani is extremely good. I'm high on Keigo Nakamura's run right now. Mao and Yuki Ueno are unquestionably 2 of the best wrestlers in DDT, and you might also, for Yuki Ueno, make the argument that he is one of the best wrestlers in Japan right now. Takeshi Masada had a great short run with the tag team title recently. He is extremely good. They are great talents. Where I see Dragongate getting the edge is what they get out of their young talent, what you just said. And that might give Dragongate the edge, but these are 2 companies that definitely benefit from not being a traditional Japanese wrestling company where they have very strict and set rules for their young talent. And that is something that the New Japan's president has been pointing out that is a problem for the company. And I feel like that All Japan Pro Wrestling is also softened up on it, not only with Yuma Anzai, but look at how quickly they elevated the Saito brothers, for example. I mean, they are guys that
Yeah.
are well over 30, but they got elevated really quick to a level where they very soon main evented shows. So they have kind of softened up on that as well, which really only leaves us with New Japan Pro Wrestling and Pro Wrestling Noah with the real traditional method. Whereas I think New Japan Pro Wrestling they can allow themselves to still run that way. At Pro Wrestling Noah, man, I don't think that they can actually. So overall, DDT Dragongate, maybe Dragongate gets the edge because of what you said. But I really, really like the guys that DDT have, man.
Yeah, Ueno's definitely been an unquestionable success story this year. If you were to say who had the best star, like he was more valuable to his company than anybody, like in Dragon Gate this year. Shun is, I mean, it's just a unique way. Like he's not the ace of the company or anything, but it's kind of like so much stuff runs through him and his character that he's really uncomparable to any other wrestler. Like never mind age. But Ueno in terms of accolades would be the best guy that we've seen on this list. Mao has had a good year, very improved, I would say. Just in terms of a traditional style wrestler, he's always been that. He's had that DDT crazy guy side to him, obviously, but I think he grew a lot as a wrestler. After that, I think that we see a lot of guys who have not reached their full potential ultimately, and maybe they will one day. I think you have high hopes for somebody like Koraku, who I think has all the talent to be a guy. Nakamura, I'm a huge fan of as well. Okatani, Yoshimura, it's kind of like I shelved them a little bit just because of their injuries, and Okatani will be back hopefully, and hopefully Yoshimura will as well. Yeah. But they're obviously very talented. I like all of these guys as wrestlers, really. Naya, I'm not a big fan of. I mean, he turned 30, so he's fired anyway, so it's fine. But regardless, I like all of these guys as wrestlers. I think the Dragongate guys, like they're just put in positions to do more. Like somebody like a Kakuta was the champion last year. And even the undercard guys like Rita, Tanaka, Mochi Jr., Jackie, again, they have a lot of big matches and moments especially in a tag team scenario with a lot of these guys. That
she just got a shot at the Dreamgate title.
It totally did an amazing job. I thought like really stepped up. And he's a guy that I really didn't see it with for a while. I thought he struggled for a little while, but he's found himself. And I think, again, to praise Shun, I think his tag team with Shun Skywalker earlier in the year really was able to get him in the right path from where he was as the Bravegate champion. That really didn't work for me at all. But them in the tag league, they had a really good bully thing, and obviously Yamato. We didn't talk about it, but that Dragongate show had to be one of the best shows of the year, in my opinion. The one that he main evented for multiple reasons, and Homari was a huge part of that. Again, it's not like we suddenly declare Homari, yes, he is the one, he is the next superstar. He's only had one match, but they utilized him in a way where he felt like the next superstar. Everyone wanted him to be the leader of their faction, which is a great way.
Yeah, absolutely. If you're looking to get into Dragongate, that's the show you should seek out right now.
To me, and I said this at the time, this was the first show in literally years where this felt like Dragongate again to me. Like the Dragongate I knew, like when we watched it, 10, 15 years ago. I haven't got this feeling on any, and they've had a lot of great moments and great shows, don't get me wrong, but this was just different. It felt like how it used to be in DG, and the fans were into it. They were going crazy, big angles. The match at the end was great. Yamato, I've heard some people give some MVP love potentially with this Dreamgate run, and it's hard to argue they haven't stepped up big since he's, you compare where they were a few months ago with Monte as champion to now. It's hard to argue. When you see that show, they're cooking people. I'm telling you, DG, you got to watch that show. Like you're gonna love it. I promise. So yeah, they're doing big things. But DDT, great amount of young talent turned to it too, no doubt. I just think they're a little further away from reaching their potential, and hopefully we see some of these guys do that in the future. But Ueno definitely unquestionably a success story. And Mao is one of the top stars of the company for sure. So all the companies have pros and cons. Even Noah, like it's a lesser amount, but Ozawa and Owada,
Oh yeah.
are top tier talent, as good as anybody in any of these other companies. Kaito, a great worker. Like, you could say what you want. I mean, it's clear him as the top star is not doing anyone favors. Like, I think that's obvious, and it's unfortunate, and we beat that drum to death. But nobody could doubt his skills at the end of the day. I remember there was a thing, I just looked it up right now. Credit to Voices of Wrestling for this. They did a 30 under 30 list a few months ago, actually, that did this. Kaito was the number one voted. I don't know the criteria for this. I know Gerard voted in this, but a lot of people did overall. Kaito was the number one guy, which is clearly insane that Anzai was not number one, ultimately, I would say. But, you look at the Japanese list, because they had talent from America, too, on there. I mean, Takeshita was like number two. And obviously, he's Japanese, but more of an AEW guy at this point. Kaito, Anzai, Shun was the third-ranked Japanese guy. Shota Umino, I bet if they did a redo vote on this today, I wonder where he would vote. Yeah, exactly. I don't think he would stand very much. Utami, I think she's another one that has faced some struggles. We're going to talk about that in a little bit. Yuma Aoyagi up there in the top 10, number 8, and very quick for the Japanese talent. Gabe Kidd, you mentioned him on your list as well. He was number 9. You've got Fuminori Abe, somehow under 30 on this. How is that possible on there? He must have turned 30 between that and now. I refuse to believe it, that he's that young. Yeah. Still 29, Fuminori Abe. God bless him, man. Azumi, number 19, a great worker in her own right for sure. Miyu Yamashita, sorry should have been higher, I think, in hindsight. Yuki Ueno up next. He's another one. I think he's really proven himself with this reign, even though I didn't love how it ended. Even though I loved the match.
He should be in a position that Shota Umino got.
Yeah, switch those two and just kick Umino off the list as well. But no, Mochi Jr., Jackie Kame, Miyu Watanabe, we're going to talk about her in a second. Ryohei Oiwa and Mao, finishing up 27, 28, 29. So a lot of Japanese talent here. It's an interesting list when you look at all of these guys and girls on that list. We didn't even bring them up. The Joshi ranks are kind of a different story.
Yeah,
but still, you look at these, rankings, and they're pretty, strong overall. It shows you the level of talent we've got right now in these companies. But hopefully with the Noah guys coming back, Owada and Ozawa and these guys, if they get more of a push, it's that like I said, Dragongate guys and DDT to a similar extent, a lesser extent though, they get the benefit of being pushed better because that benefits you being younger, whereas the other ones feel like the big three, the traditionalist companies, they want you to have a journey, take years for the fans to see you grow from the black tights guy to whatever you grow into, and you have to overcome. So I think that's an important part, and it's kind of unfair to compare them in that sense. But still, fact of the matter, you look at these names you've listed, there's a great amount of talent in Japanese pro wrestling for the young talent, and I think that's something we all have to be happy about, and it's very cool to see where they'll go in the future.
I mean, even look at New Japan Pro Wrestling. They got Roy Oiwa back. Unquestionably, one of their most talented, if not the most talented, under 30 wrestlers that they have. I'm wondering, too, where Oscar Leube and Yuto Nakashima will be slotted once they return. Those two are extremely good as well. You have Yuya Uemura, who had a very good run in the G1 Climax and very unfortunately got injured.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of talent there that could make the jump to a bigger position, and they need that. So New Japan Pro Wrestling will be very interesting as well.
Even Gabe Kidd as well.
Has
got a lot of buzz. Let me ask you this. So I was going to ask you, of the companies, if you had to pick one guy from these companies to bank on, who would you pick?
Mochi Jr.
I would pick Anzai. Yeah. Mochi Jr. is great though. Like I said, and he's a little bit younger too. He's got all the potential in the world. I think as a worker, he's just scratching the surface. Once he gets in those big matches, like I said, that's the thing. He's been great and not really had even big match opportunities as much as some people in terms of singles. Once he gets those,
in his singles opportunities, and those were usually those Bravegate third position matches.
Yeah.
He was extremely good in those.
Oh yeah, what about his match with his dad a couple of months ago? That match was unbelievably great. So yeah, good pick on your part. Anzai I think would be the biggest star. I think he's a totally unique talent. But like all of these guys too, like you could go with a lot of different talents that you could really put your finger on and be like, hey, this guy like could be something really special going forward. We talk about the DDT guys, Mao and Ueno. So New Japan, anyway, like let's do it by company. If you were going to a New Japan alone, who would be the one you point to here?
Oiwa.
Me too. Yeah, like I said, we totally agree on that. Yeah. See, the other ones, they kind of like slotted people already, with all like Anzai's already the main event guy, Kaito's already the main guy, Noah. DDT, Ueno has got the most. I mean, you could foresee Mao like taking over at some point at DDT.
Yeah. Otherwise, I'm really looking at Takeshi Masada.
Oh yeah, he's great. I didn't love his run with Brooks actually as a tag team, but he's a talented guy. Very young, got a great look, really talented wrestler. I definitely believe in him. I just didn't think their team was that great overall, especially coming off of the Burning run. I thought it was kind of a step back for those titles, but we'll see. I mean, it was a step back losing as well, so it's like either one's fine. But Masada's great, no doubt. He's definitely somebody you could point to long term for sure. Because once he enters his prime, 10 years from now, he's going to be 32 and Ueno's going to be 39. So that's going to be a big difference there. And so from long term, I think Masada is the pick as well. So yeah, totally agree, pretty much.
We left out Pro Wrestling Noah. In theory, it has to be Taishi Osawa.
Yeah.
Because Kaito is already there,
Yeah.
But it's Noah.
But they give him a chance, though, That's the thing. Like, you can't have faith in that right now. But, I mean, as a talent, I love him. Owada I really like as well. But Ozawa's got more size to him, and I think there's there's going to be more opportunities for him because of that than Owada. It's just going to be interesting to see where they go in general. And hopefully they, above all others, listen to my advice and try to bring in new people by whatever means they can.